All right, and we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wine for the People. It is the happy hour, of course, the only show left on the internet where we don't take ourselves as seriously as the wines, and it's pretty up in the air about whether we take wine seriously at all. Guys, so it is episode 108. We have another amazing guest, and actually, it's something that you guys have been asking for, and it's something that we'd been hoping. Mate, we've been hoping to get you on the show for a little while. To be honest, no, seriously, because we talk about the concept of I guess winemakers and viticulturalists and vignerons and all this hullabaloo. There's very few people
names.
Too many labels, man. But very few people actually live and breathe it the way that you guys do, and you guys have been in operation for quite some time. You haven't done haven't crashed and burnt.
Yeah.
Fucking right. But you also haven't bitten that bullet to immensely grow, and I'm sure knowing the provenance of what you've done with Smallfry in such a small time, you could have. And we'll delve into the whys around that. But guys, I'd like to introduce you to Wayne Ahrens behind Smallfry. One half of it. Yes, the much uglier half. Guys, he is the small fry. No, honestly, it's a pleasure to have you on board, man. How are you? How's things? What's news?
It's really huge. It's been quite insane this whole period, and I haven't sort of had time to sort of stop and take stock. I think we've just been so busy and so flat out.
It's crazy.
That it's really taken me completely by surprise. But we're just so busy. Much shit.
I tell you who's going to be really busy tonight, and that's going to be Laura, because you brought 6 wines, mate. I absolutely love this.
I had a concept.
No, he's got a concept. So I reckon we're going to because 6 wines is like we're banging through wines at a cracking pace.
Yes.
Once every 10 minutes. Laura, are you ready to rock and roll? Are we gonna crack on with the first one? Wow, this is incredible.
She looks like it.
Noah's got the day off today because yesterday was his birthday and today is a sunny day. So and Noah's been putting in the hours recently, so we felt he should definitely have a day off. But it's keeping Laura on her toes. I'm really excited about this. Let's delve straight into the questions, mate. Quick 10 questions. We do this as a bit of fun. They're really quick. You're not allowed to sit on the fence. That's the thing. You're not allowed to sit on the fence. But by all means, tell us your reasoning why. This is to help the audience get to know you, the real you, the real Wayne.
The real me.
Winemaker or viticulturalist?
Vit.
Permaculture or biodynamics?
Biodynamic.
I'm trying to trigger him here. Sand or clay?
Sand.
Innovation or tradition?
Both.
Oh, you can't sit on the fence!
Well, there's things that are traditional that are valid, and there's stupid old people as well, So just because they did it traditionally doesn't mean it's automatically correct, but there are some things.
I think at all ages there's stupid people. I think so. So, Cabernet or Shiraz?
Shiraz.
Okay, cool. Oak or stainless?
Stainless.
Ah, interesting. Nouveau or Joven? Hoven. Old or young vines?
Well, old is better.
That's a prelude to an interesting question coming up. Champagne or Pet Nat?
Pet Nat.
Oh, he's the first! He's the first! You're the first in about 7 guests in a row that hasn't just succumbed to the desire for champagne.
No, Pet Nats are good.
Well done. See, this is why Wayne's on, man. This is why Wayne's on. Red, white, rosé, or tangerine?
Tangerine. Yes, a bit of both. Have skin contact, but yes.
I have to admit the tangerine thing is absolutely fantastic, because we released a wine last week called Off White as a bit of a stab at the inability to be able to utilise the term orange wine, and that's exclusively an inability of only Australian producers.
That's right.
That's right. But tangerine, better.
I didn't want to offend the nice people of Orange.
They are lovely people, and some of them actually make orange wine.
They do.
Sorry, tangerine wines from Orange.
Yeah. I had an orange from Orange the other day.
Hey, good wines. They're really, really good wines. And a bonus question. And this is getting deep really quickly on you. You mentioned something in an interview way back in 2013, and I found this amazing. You know, these are really like when you research someone, you go like, wow, what an amazing soundbite. What an amazing thing to think about.
Yeah.
You talked about the maturation of the national palate.
Yeah.
And in 7 years, do you think it's matured? Where would you say the Australian palate is now?
I think we've caught up with the Japanese palate, for example. So I see the Japanese palate as being sort of 5 years ahead of us.
Interesting.
And I think, you know, the Australian national palate has caught up in the scheme of things. We're catching up fast. And so, yes, certainly it's matured heaps. And yeah, I think the strength of the Australian dollar has been fundamental to that. So cheap imports have made Australians sit up and take notice and give them the opportunity to try stuff that they didn't try before.
So I love that. We're actually going to talk a little bit about Japan as well on this episode because we've not had the Japan conversation. We've not had the Japan conversation. There is a conversation around Japan for those that are playing at home. There is, if you don't already know about it, there's something you should know about the relationship between Japanese wine consumers and Australia, and it is something that's very humbling and very interesting. Straight onto the comments.
Wine producers in general. It's not just Australia.
I think it's wine producers as well. I think we find kindred spirits.
Yeah, they love the French and the Italians as well. You know.
Yeah, they love everything as well. But jumping on the comments straight up: Kerry Carter, Stephen Tahorse, Mel Sinclair, Glenn, Jicky, Christina, hoodie. No, howdy. Even good start. There is no hoodie today because it's 26 degrees and we're loving it.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Hi, Wayne and Brendo. Amanda, thanks for chiming in, Amanda. Howdy. Who is your guest? This is Wayne Ahrens. It should be showing up underneath his lovely face. It is not.
No.
Oh, but now it is.
There we are. There we are. The magic of technology.
The magic of technology.
I can't believe it. 7-4-7, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, we're going to jump in straight into this blind tasting wine. It is everyone's favorite game, mate. You want to see something absolutely amazing? Check this out. Whoosha!
There we go.
That's right, blind tasting.
Graphics. They are graphics.
This is looking like a cheeky, lovely little Riesling. This is really tight, really lean.
Well,
are we playing options?
There's a theme to the 6 wines. So
lovely, cool. Okay.
You might need to maybe if I pour like the first 3 and you can have a taste and then you can let us know what you're thinking.
Cool.
So it's same variety, same wine region.
Yeah. And that's it.
That's it. 6
okay.
wines.
Okay, that's all the information. We're just going to roll.
Yeah, well,
this is all impromptu, by the way.
We'll tease.
Yeah.
At the moment, that's all you're getting.
It's Eden Valley Riesling. It's going to end up being some really like weird place. Like it's the Black Forest of Germany, and it's a variety that you've never heard of. And we just thought we're going to do like a real in-depth into it.
Schockenbulle.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, we'll proceed. We've got plenty of questions for you, Matt. So I want to talking about you. There's just 2 questions really I want to know about you. I mean, there's plenty to know about. You can Google it all. But apparently you mined gold once.
Yeah, I did mine gold for a bit. Yes.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Is this how long ago? Where? How?
I was 19. I worked in the Pilbara and at Meekatharra on alluvial gold shows. So yeah, we had like a 100-ton-an-hour washing plant, and I was driving the excavators and the front end loaders and that sort of thing, and digging up the Australian bush and pouring it, and destroying it, to extract some gold, which we then would then be shipped over to America and put into another hole in the ground over there. So, it wasn't a long-lasting career, but it was formative.
Is this how you could afford to do everything?
Well, no, you had to in the 80s, man. It was
Yeah. Was this back when the interest rate was through the roof and stuff like that?
It would have been, but yeah, I borrowed money from my auntie, so my interest rate was fixed, but I still had to pay. I bought a vineyard. I bought my first vineyard when I was 17.
You're kidding?
No.
Really?
And yeah, I was 19 and I was paying it off, yes.
No one was there to tell you, mate, that's a terrible idea?
Well, my father was there and he pushed me into it, and I think he'd worked out that, I was only going to just be a complete waste of time otherwise, so he had to get me going. And so, yeah, I'd gone fishing to Kununurra with a couple of mates when I was 17, and he rang me up, and he never rang up, And he rang me up and said, "Oh, do you want to buy a vineyard?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." Yeah, so by the time I got back from barra fishing in Kununurra, I owned 20 acres of land with 5 acres.
Where at?
Right next door to home.
Right now, like right now.
No, the home property at that stage. I sold that to my brother.
So are we talking Barossa?
Yeah, Vineyard. Yeah.
So you couldn't really do that now. I imagine property prices have risen somewhat since the 80s.
Yeah, somewhat. But
somewhat. Something about the gold rush of the 90s, like proverbial, the Venice gold rush.
Yeah, well, there's been a fair bit of correction now over that, but yeah, it's funny. I mean, yes, yeah, I am contemplating, trying to organise something with that, our son. You know, I think it's still possible.
It is. It's a tough thing to do, but it is. I mean, it is possible. You just got to find fun, tricky ways around it at the moment.
Yeah.
But tell us.
Interest rates are quite low.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, this is.
Going to stay low.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are they?
Well. For long enough. That's right. The deal done.
Well, tell us. Obviously, talking about you sort of briefly mentioned on this before about it's been lockdown. It's just been a weird, eerie experience. How have you guys handled that?
It didn't affect us very much. We had our half a dozen COVID refugees, that were.
You get woofers, don't you?
Yeah, 4 Japanese and an English couple, English-French couple. And so we had quite a diverse social life, and we just kept on doing our things, and it didn't seem to change.
The glory of farming, guys.
Yeah. Our life is that boring anyway that it doesn't matter. So we just did the same thing.
Well, jumping on to Smallfry, why Smallfry? Why the name? What's that?
All the good names were gone,
Unico, Zello.
Yeah, that's right. We weren't creative enough for that, So but we just wanted something that said we're tiny. I mean, we both were working for big corporate, like I was working for Jacobs Creek, rolling flat, and I was
on to the next wine, mate. This is what happens. 6 wines and same variety.
It'll have to same variety. And Susie was managing Vineyard for Treasury. So yeah.
You're really fucking with my head right now, mate.
Good.
So these 2 wines, the first 2 wines are the same variety. Okay, cool. All right.
Yep.
Right. Do you think we should be describing commercially driven farming or winemaking as conventional?
No, well, I've been in trouble with that before, but no, it's not conventional. It's
weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a new phenomenon.
Since the 1940s, really.
Yeah.
1950s. Yes, they seem to have managed to get that bit of real estate, and call it their own. But yeah, it's not. It's not traditional farming. It's not conventional farming.
It's odd. Do you think we talk about this sort of verbiage that we utilize in Australian wine where you talk about things like alternative varieties and go, they're not alternative. They talk about how Merlot is technically alternative based on hectares planted because no one has any planted anymore.
Yeah.
There's more.
But language counts. Language is important. That's I taught English as a second language. I understand that language is important
because it means something.
Yeah, that bit of language real estate that they've stood on gives them some form of moral higher ground. I think is what they're working.
So do you think this is what's happened? Like the obviously the language surrounding the term natural has kind of put a lot of what we would know as conventional on notice. But it's sort of like a tit for tat. It's like, you know what, you got your term, we'll grab ours.
Yeah. We could have that one-upmanship, as it goes along. But it's certainly it's put their noses out of joint for sure.
Have you heard the new term?
No.
New term that's just only in America, mate.
Yeah.
Clean wine.
Clean wine.
Okay. It's wine that's not dirty. Okay. It's clean wine. It's like yeah.
Because it was that one was so fresh, so clean. That was a brand.
So fresh, so good.
Yeah, that
was. You're telling the story.
There is a brand. Who is it? Bloody Stocky. Yeah, Nick Stock. His brand is called So Fresh, So Clean.
Dude, this is gold.
Yeah,
that's absolutely gold. Maybe you should copyright it before. I think it's it's a famous actress that has started this thing called Clean Wine. You've got 2 vineyards and very small ones actually, very very quaint.
Titchy.
Yeah, Vinevale and Eden.
Yeah.
How did the 2 happen? Why you already had one small one? Why the second small one?
Well, because so it was one of those things about farming and how it all comes about. It's family history. So my brother took over the family farm in Vinedale, and my dad had bought the place at Egan Valley where he ran sheep, and he vowed and declared he was going to, retire and collect a pension. So my parents divested themselves of their assets quite early on, and so my brother got the home farm, and I got the one in Egan Valley, and it continued from there. So we started planting and doing things out there. Then climate change came along and made Eden Valley a little bit tougher than what it had been, less Eden-like than what it had been. And it was really quite apparent.
It's more like purgatory some years.
It's awful, but when it's dry,
it's dry.
And so moving in, buying down in Vinedale was something that made a lot of sense to me, and it was sort of a homecoming in a way. And I had a connection to there, and it just seemed intuitively the right thing to do. I've never really sort of gone much with the why, with the wherefores about doing things. In this sense, it's really just been go with what feels the right thing to do, and we'll see, we'll make it work somehow.
So do you farm your own?
Yeah.
Or do you have any help?
No, we don't have any employees. We've got hires here.
You've got hire.
Hire and
fresh out of
Emily,
Japan. Yeah.
Emily's with us at the moment, but so we have woofing. Yeah, we have woofers and us, and then we get contract, harvest and pruning. We'll get contractors to help, but we prune with just woofers and ourselves. We prune 45 acres of Vinedale, and
so far this is what I've heard. You don't have employees.
Yeah.
You do all your own farming.
Yeah.
COVID didn't really affect you.
No.
You just live in your own bubble.
Yes.
Sounds great.
If you like that sort of thing, it's not too bad.
No, it sounds like a really sort of peaceful sort of situation for you guys to be in.
It is.
Was it always a case of? Do you sell any of the grapes, or do you just turn them all into small fry?
We always sell. Yeah, we've been selling grapes. We came from a grape sales model, and then started making our own wine. So we're slowly diverting more and more of our grape production to our own label, and at some point, it's hard for me to envisage not selling grapes to some people.
They're just people that you have a great relationship with, and you're just long report. You couldn't call them up and say no. Sorry.
Yeah, well, but there's other people where I'm quite happily
not sell.
And I find it quite painful selling grapes. Really.
Yeah.
To me, it just makes no business sense whatsoever.
But there's obviously an adoration, a love for it, because it's actually a small set of vineyards. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was about 25 hectares in total.
Yeah.
So that's I would have thought it's pretty manageable with like just 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're a winemaker though.
I'm a winemaker. Yeah. No, exactly right.
Yeah.
No, we don't have a vineyard. We don't have a vineyard.
So
we were looking at vineyards and we're like, I can do that. And then you drive out there and you're like, wow, that's like 50 hectares. That's it's a lot of grapes. That's like rows as far as the eye can see.
They all need to be tended to personally. That's it helps if you know their names.
What's it like to tend to Pedro Jimenez? Because I was quite fascinated to see this. It's Pedro Jimenez is. I mean, how old are the vines? The Pedro vines? Are they?
They're well-aged vines. They big ancestor vines. I don't know that they're exactly original planting, but they may well be.
So how well would you anticipate the vines would be?
The original, they're between 100 and 150. I would suggest.
What's Pedro doing up there?
Making
fortified.
When I was a kid, my dad grew more Pedro than anything else. Yeah, that's Oshie. Hello, Oshie. How are you going? Yeah.
So that's Pedro.
Yeah, that's a Pedro bunch. Yeah.
So it's no wonder why people like growing it.
Yeah. It makes me wonder why more people aren't. But yeah,
it is interesting because it's an incredibly yielding grape variety. That bunch is pretty much the size of your torso.
Yeah.
It's probably the most.
It would. Yeah, wouldn't even know how much it would weigh, but it doesn't take long to fill the buckets up. which is always a good thing. But
what's it like?
So the thing was the mental leap of here we've got this Pedro resource, and how are we going to make it somehow cool?
Yeah,
and we could turn it into sherry, and obviously that would be really cool. But I don't know that we didn't have the time to be able to do that properly.
Yeah,
and come out the other end with the business intact. It just wasn't going to happen.
Fortified takes a fair degree of time.
So but clearly, I mean, sherry production would be super, super cool. But doing something else. So I was making verjuice from it and selling verjuice at the farmers market just to keep those vines in the ground.
You know, it's actually really funny because we were trying to find some really good verjuice today for the bar. Apparently, it's a really good substitute for lime juice.
Yes.
And limes. And so we've been playing around with different types of verjuice.
Yeah, in those times when you don't have citrus.
Verjuice.
Verjuice, it's perfect.
Absolutely perfect. We're playing around with it.
I really thought that I was going to get that happen, you know, hit that mark. At one stage, I was going to Brisbane. And there was the In-Flight magazine had an interview with this cocktail guy, and he was entering the national cocktails. And what are you doing? I'm making things with verjuice. So I rocked up to his bar, you know, in Brisbane, and said, you know, I want to make me some with verjuice. He said, I haven't got any verjuice. So I thought, you know what? I've got some. So I went to the hotel room, got the verjuice, went down there, and it was really good verjuice. It was smashing verjuice. And turns out the Bombay Sapphire people were on the next day. You know, he had some taste of Bombay Sapphire. He said, can I keep this bottle of verjuice? I said, by all means.
No worries.
Yeah, you can do that. Never heard another cracker. Nothing ever happened whatsoever. You know, it was just ridiculous.
Mate, I'm
on it. You know,
I'm keen. I reckon a few people have had a solid crack at Verju, but I'm keen to see what we can do. We're playing around today with it. But chiming in on the comments, Mel Sinclair, he makes it Wayne, and that's great for growing grapes. Absolutely. Lockie George, I can't wait to name my babies this weekend. 220 babies going in the dirt. Lockie's planting some vines over on the creek, mate. The creek, Langhorne Creek. Okay. I believe maybe some Nero, I think, going in the ground. It'd be really nice. But mate, tell us about obviously dealing with old vines. Correct me if I'm wrong. You mentioned old vines are better.
Well, old vines, I think there is. Old vines are more consistent.
Now that's a crack off. I think that's off your So it must be incredible to work amongst those. Yeah. Is that the same vineyard you bought when you were 17?
No. I bought a different. Yeah, no, this is Fine Path. That's the one.
That's utterly incredible.
The one we own now. Yeah. So 40% of that. So it's 18 hectares, 45 acres in the old money. And 40% of that property is what I'd call original planting vines.
So we're talking 1850s.
Yeah.
What's it like to work with 1850s?
It's great. It's really fun. Yeah, it's cool.
Do you obviously I understand you must have some sort of like earlier plantings as well.
Yeah.
Do you ever sort of ferment them separately just to see if there's any different flavors? And
all the time. We do lots of little ferments all the time.
And are they always? Is it just because they're older, they're better, like they're stellar?
I think that it's not, you know, you understand that in any given vintage, there'll be grapes that come across the weighbridge that look and taste more correct.
You just feel it.
A bit challenged, let's say.
Yeah.
And with old vines, you don't get those challenged grapes as much. You know, it's that sort of, it's the consistency. You know, they've got the wherewithal to put up with heat waves and extremes of environment better than what young vines do. And you know, in the good years when things aren't stressed, well then the young vine, the old vine, the difference not so much. In the heavier duty years, the old vines.
So in the last couple of years, they've really started to show their own.
Yep, they punch above their weight. Yes.
Well, tell us about. Well, first, are we rolling with more wine?
We are. Rolling with more wine.
I thought I'd bring him out as twice.
Yeah, cool. Are we got a third one?
So we've got two.
I thought you said first one is 2. Or we got a third one? Ooh. Whoa, Jesus. Okay, yeah, cool. We're doing it. Okay.
Okay.
So are these all the same variety?
Yes.
So you've tried these two already?
Yes.
Tried these 2, and what are these? Are these just more?
These would be just more. Yes.
Are these more of the same?
Well, not exactly the same.
Not exactly the same.
There's subtle differences, but so it's
this is Wayne's like thing. He's just going to get me whacked on camera. Not the first time.
Yes.
This is okay. Cool. So these are all different. So you don't get your own flight. This flight's for me. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we can.
You can have a chuck in here. I know what colour they are now.
All right. Yes, of course, we don't need to.
All right, but they're all related. They're all related. Okay. Would you like me to run through these?
Yes.
And I'll shove the comments down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all right, cool. Apparently, like, Wayne's really thought this out.
Yeah.
Really thought this out. Okay. That's looking fine, isn't it? It's got a bit of a menthol thing going on.
Yeah, really herbal.
Okay, firstly, the first three couldn't be further apart. And that first one, I can see now, has a bit of colour on it. And that smelt and tasted like a really fine Eden Valley Riesling.
Really?
That's incredible.
Yeah,
you know,
I knew what it was, but it looked more confectionery to me. But, yeah.
Maybe a bit of cheeky QA23 yeast. You know, a little bit of aromatic yeast is providing a few wonders there. That's
probably a pretty good call. Actually.
Pretty good call.
I reckon that could well be a good call.
I just, you know, we don't see a lot of wines around. We don't really put our hands up and like, yes, I want to see that. Yeah. That tastes like straight up like Barossa Shiraz. That's fantastic. This tastes like I'm getting an inkling that this is Syrah like 10 ways. Ooh, talking about old school, talking about OG. Yeah. That's this is the type of menthol that you're not ashamed to admit you're tasting. It's like that's fun. Number 4, whatever number 4 is, I'm into it.
So we're New World or Old World?
I'd suggest that's my one out of the lineup.
That's yours because it's awesome.
Yeah.
That number 4, you said New World or Old World? I'd say with this one here, I'd say that's New World, old school, done old school is my thing. We'll run through these in a second. I want to crack through because this is you piqued my interest, man.
Good. That's what I meant.
Whoa! Yeah, that's also that's old school but young. New World. That is chippy, man. There is some.
That's a banging wine, isn't it?
That's crazy. That you want to see in like 4 years, 5 years, and I reckon it'll start to look like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There's a density and a power and a weight there, and then I feel
personality. Personality plus.
Well, that's interesting. Well, that's really interesting. There is a big deviation between this and the last. And there is here, like that just screams old school. I said old school done well. I want to see that in years in the cellar, and it's going to really sort of yield this sort of thing. It's Grenache-like. Oddly enough, the one that I feel is like most composed is that last one.
Yep.
The last one's fantastic. Both of these, I think, are siblings. I think they're cousins of each other. There's something going on between these last two.
Yep.
These couldn't be further apart. Like there's a rawness and like a realness to this that I think's quite. This one's quite constructed. This is built for that Wednesday, Sunday 11 a.m. You know, on a sunny spring day. There's nothing wrong with this. It's not the wine that I'd write home about. But it's the wine that I would consume volumes of, which I think is exactly what the intended effect is. This here, I think, is... that's someone taking a punt. That's someone taking a really cool punt. Yeah. And that's a thrilling drink. That kind of like makes hairs stick up at the back of your neck and kind of go, yeah, let's do this. Let's have a bit of fun. That's the punk rock of this lineup. This here is conservative done really well. I think, and then... This here, there's something sort of really well put together about this. Like just there's someone's sort of pulled their hair out about that and really kind of constructed this.
Cool.
All right, so Laura, I personally I think the variety is all of it is I think all of it's Barossa Shiraz. I don't know. What I got was region and what I got was variety.
Yeah, okay. So the challenge...
The challenge...
we can go with this now. So it's all Mataro.
Oh, no!
And it's
like my most hated grape variety.
And it's all from our Vineyard Vineyard.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah,
so,
cool.
But different people have made all of... there's 2 wines that were made by the same... that are siblings.
Yep.
But the rest of them, they're all made by different people, different vintages and that sort of thing. But my challenge to you is to put them in order of RRP.
RRP?
Yeah, in ascending order of RRP.
Okay.
Retail price.
Okay. Yeah, everyone's liking this now, aren't they?
That ball is so good.
You've got the notes there for RRP law?
I
You know what's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Once we unveil the wines, yeah, I'll be able to tell you the pricing.
I think that's the most expensive, followed closely by that, then this. This is actually line price with that one, and then this one is a little bit less, and this one's cheap.
Yep. Okay. So right. Well, yep. There we are.
Is that?
So that's $20.
Yep. It's like the price is right. This is awesome. This whole show is taken on a new dimension this evening, folks. That's a Coda's. The first one, which is the rosé.
Heart of the Barossa.
Heart of the Barossa. Yep, $20.
$20.
Sick.
Okay.
That's a Coda barrels.
So
Yeah, cool.
From the north.
Yep.
$45.
Yeah, right. Okay, now we're really.
East End Cellars.
Yeah, right.
This one.
Arno
Wine Co. So that's $30.
Whoa!
And he's a young guy, Craig Viney. He's starting
Cool.
out.
This is the guy taking a punt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! Wow, you're just opening our eyes on that because that's fun.
Yeah. This one.
yours.
That's us. So yeah, that's 2015. So this is 18. Yeah, we'll do the vintages. So that's our own Garden Mataro. That one.
Please tell me it's like $80.
It's $80. Yeah.
Oh!
So that then is
Heart of the Barossa.
Heart of the Barossa. Okay, so that's $25.
Wow!
And
Wow!
this one is Janelle Zirk, $300.
Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that Well, thank you for letting us open it, mate.
Yeah.
No, seriously, because that is, out of all of them, the one that I feel is just someone has really, it's like...
hair out about, yeah.
Yeah, it's on the hair out about.
Yeah, Janelle would agree with you entirely.
Well, it's good to know that the one that people say, this is like this is fantastic. So not far off, but I don't know. It's one of the, again, if that spent 3 to 5 years in the cellar, I'd put it like right up there with this. This is incredible. But these are the two.
Well, so that's our one, and that's Janelle.
Five-hour Mataro. Now, are these old vine Mataro?
Yeah, old vine.
So what is it? Okay, I've got to ask a question. What is it about Mataro that is getting people to vibe? Because I've never these pale in comparison to what I personally have enjoyed from Mataro. Mataro I typically find heavily reductive, stemmy, herbaceous, not overly interesting.
Yeah.
These are next level.
Yeah, well, it's texture. It's the variety that floods your gums and
Yeah.
Really.
But this has acid. This has like quite a surprising level of acid.
Yep. Yeah.
That is
incredible.
incredible.
Holds its acid really well. Yeah.
That's. Is there like really particular choices on things like oak use on this?
Yeah,
because
well, it's French. So this is
it's like classy.
Literally, so we at that stage we were making an oak GMS.
Yep.
Grenache Mataro Shiraz, and this was literally 2 barrels that stood out and they happened to be French. And stood out as being quite special, and so we bottled them separately instead of them disappearing into the brand. So that's what that was. So it's 2015.
And this is the young guy having a crack. This is
Craig Viney,
mate. He's I think he's taken a few notes from you, mate.
We worked together at Muzzer before at Murray Street, and he may well have done. I don't know. I think he's got his own style.
He's got his own style. He's doing his own thing. But the wine is incredible. Like so both
the terroir is speaking. Hopefully.
So what makes? I mean, you grow all the grapes, right? It's all from the same vineyard.
All from the same vineyard.
Obvious question here, mate.
Yes.
80 to 300.
Yes.
What? How does that happen?
25 to 300. Yeah.
Yeah. How does that happen?
Well, people put value on. Somewhere along the line, someone sat down and thought that this is a reasonable price to charge for this bottle of wine.
This is actually really.
It's the hardest thing to get right. You know it as well as.
Oh yeah.
It's the hardest thing.
It is because there is something about, say, the Hilda, that wine there, that you know that someone has really stressed over, and you just I don't know, you taste enough wines and you can tell that was actually a really painful wine to make, and there was just so much consideration that was put into it. I had no idea, guys. I had absolutely no idea about these wines, and this is like completely. I saw Anaconda bottle get pulled out before, but that was it. And that's what I was like, hey man, these are meant to be blind tasting. I don't know what they are. And it was like, just trust me, I've got like a thing. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to happen. That's actually really cool. We've got a ton of comments that are coming in from the crowd at home. This is so cool. Great challenge, great TV. Drinker's version of an intelligence test. Thanks, Mel. Now shuffle them up and try again. I could probably do it if you got me to do it. In fact, shall we do that? Shall we? Do you want to? I'll close my eyes, mate, and we'll see. I'm going to close my eyes. You shuffle these glasses.
Okay. Well, the rosé.
And eliminate the rosé.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got Wayne to help me.
No, well, I'm not sure. Do I? I'll have to test. Yeah, I'll have to taste them too.
All right. Well, obviously we know what that one is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's have a crack. This is going to be fun. Well, that's yours.
Yeah. So that's the one that's been longest in oak.
That is the little 25 bucker that I thought was related to this, but that's the it's well cooperage. It's well cooperage oak. That's going to give me the Einrich oak.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd agree with that. That was. So that'll be.
That there, I think it's a coda.
Someone who was watching what went on will be able to tell us, won't they? What we did.
That one there's the Hilda. It's tannin on that. That's really interesting. And then that one there's the Arno. That's the that's a stemmy one. See, I can do it. I can do it. I'm pretty confident on that one.
I'm glad we've got through that.
Wayne said he likes stainless. Most of the Mataro's in oak. What was the $300 a bottle wine fermented in?
It was fermented. I'm not sure what Chanel did that. I don't know. The answer to those questions. But yeah, all of these wines have seen some oak.
I'd certainly say so. Some have seen like overt. There is that 25 bucker. That's actually pretty cool, banging wine. But that's seen some really. That's why I said chippy. It seems seen a solid amount of oak. But most of these, in fact,
so Taras is generally in and out pretty quick as far as oak goes. So like the Hilda, the Janelle's one and Taras's one, they were 19s.
Yeah, right. Because the Hilda actually, it feels like the wine has swallowed the oak. And that sounds really odd, but like some wines, like Pinot, for example, Pinot swallows oak like there's no tomorrow. You can't like overpower Pinot. You do something very similar with Nebbiolo though, and the oak will swallow Nebbiolo like there's no tomorrow. You just can't. You just can't do it. It just drowns out Neb. It kills it.
I remember
just weird things that happen.
One of the Pennies guys talking about that when I was at
Penfolds.
Penfolds.
It's Barossa for Penfolds.
and that was good fruit. Good fruit would swallow oak. They would say, it was their sort of shorthand for.
But good fruit from them was 17% Shiraz.
That's it.
Pretty sure that's going to swallow anything.
Could do. But even there, within that, they'd say some does, some doesn't. It depends on the fruit.
Wait, who are your great wine inspirations? Who do you look up to? Who sets your benchmark?
O'Callaghan was, for me, a huge influence.
So we're talking Robert O'Callaghan. This is the main proprietor from Rockford's.
So working with Robert and...
You can see that in that.
Going to school on those things. That soft tannin structure is, I think Rockford redefined what was possible as far as, for me, showed me what is possible with tannin. The way the tannins are structured and that light feathery tannin is signature Rockford, and I love that. So that
he was one of the main protagonists behind like good élevage, good like taking your time, basket pressing, of course, so, different types of extraction.
Yeah.
Have you guys got glass of that Smallfry? Because that is mind-bogglingly good. That's there's something about the maturation of that wine in presence of oak over time that the marriage of that is absolutely incredible. Yeah. I said old school done really well.
Yeah, it has the advantage of being older, so it's sort of settled into itself. But yeah, that to me was fundamental, and the way open slate fermenters and that sort of thing. So yeah, not maceration of. Not a huge amount of maceration of skins. So to him, that was a fundamental influence. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm a real magpie. I pick and choose from all sorts of different things. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed looking at some of the guys. It's hard to. For me, Taras is a rock star. I think
he is. Yeah,
he does things that I just can't.
Have some Suave.
Yeah,
need some wine in your glass, mate.
That'd be good. So yeah, I list him as an influence, and I we religiously buy his wines and go to school on him and try and work out how the hell he's done.
What did you think about the Isabella?
I haven't tried that one.
So it's a wine made from Taras Coda barrels. Amazing wine producer based in the Adelaide Hills, and made a wine from a rootstock.
Yeah.
Made from Vitis labrusca.
Okay.
Isabella. It's the most amazingly aromatic thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
But talking about picking and choosing, what is it about biodynamics that really hooked you? Because you're famously one of the really sort of ardent supporters of biodynamics. And have you looked into other forms of viticulture, like modifying Fukuoka method farming or permaculture?
They're all just spokes on the same wheel. Look, BD just spoke to me. It wasn't it's no more complex than that. I went to my first workshop because I wanted to learn more about composting. So that was my question at the beginning. What do you want to learn about this composting? Because I was pretty sure that composting was a big part of the answer for us. Yeah. And I just sort of walked away with a whole new take on life, and it just spoke. It seemed intuitively correct, that feeling has never gone away.
Is it a feeling?
Yeah.
Is it a feeling like?
It is a feeling.
Do you reckon it's a human thing? Do you reckon it's like we as humans we like to put shit in boxes, but do you reckon it's you put shit in cow horns though?
Yeah. That's it. We'll put our shit somewhere, but but it is. Well, I certainly feel it resonates with me on a personal level, and it's often the case with these sort of things. The people get attracted to. It's that alternative way of train of thought. So things people do take them personally. It's a bit like a religion sometimes for some people. But for me, it's very much something that nurtured my soul.
I can understand why people would say it looks religious because, like that there, mate.
Yeah, it's pretty spooky. Yeah.
What's with the horns?
It's a Viking thing, It's virility, it's everything.
I have a question though. Like, where do you get the horns? Do you just call up like a? Yeah, you just call up a local sort of. Or is there like a supplier? It's like we supply horns. No, most abattoirs they'll give you some horns. They look at you funny.
They take. So our horns. It's quite a bit of thing to track down horns, but what's his name? Michael Paxton tracked down a whole heap of horns, and we run a few workshops and that sort of thing.
Guys have got some horns.
Yeah, I've got some horns. It's like, how many do you want? And he had to send his people down there and sort of collect them and clean them out, and in amongst the blood and the guts and the mucus sort of thing. But it's a funny thing. I mean, people focus on the horns. Everyone wants to talk about the horns all the time, and it's...
But not you. You actually focus on getting your hands dirty, mate, because I tell you what, it's not just... and this is the classic... I didn't realize this is your thing. So what? I mean, you're doing some hand plunging here.
Yes.
But you're also doing some hand plunging here.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you're not doing hand plunging, you're looking at statues of hands as well.
That's right.
What's going on?
It's a hand thing. Okay, maybe you've identified something there.
Yeah. Have you not picked up on that? There's an inordinate amount of hands going on in the Instagram profile.
Well, there you go.
That's it. But I mean, obviously, this helps you. I mean, because I've done plenty of like hand plunging and stuff before. It is pretty insightful because you're like, where the hot caps are. It's not. Everything's not happening uniformly. It's happening at different stages and different points.
Yes. No, it lets you, and yeah, the aromatics that you've experienced, you know, it lets you know where the
ferment's at.
And that sort of thing, and being in touch, yeah, it's really important.
So
it saves a lot of money on lab.
As long as you feel it's a lot of money spent on laboratory. So obviously being such a proponent of things like sustainability in vineyards and stuff like that, are all weeds evil? No. All plants are inherently good. So yeah. we just put a label on it.
Yeah, we decide. We try and be arbitrary about it, but it doesn't make any sense.
Are there any weeds that you're just like, look, we just gotta, guys, we gotta spray you. We gotta get rid of you.
Perennial grasses are the bugbear for us in our system.
Okay.
And that's where we've been, you know, getting on top of perennial grasses has been one of the building blocks of successful viticulture there. So, you know,
how do you get on top of a perennial grass apart from spraying it, tilling?
Yeah, tilling it. Yeah.
But your father stopped tilling.
Yes.
In the 70s.
Yes.
So how do you do it? Still got to till. You don't have a choice.
We till.
You till.
Yeah, but what we practice is non-inversion tillage. So we're not.
You're not tilling to turn the soil. You're targeting that and going, I'm going to rip you out.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to cut your roots off and leave you there in place.
Oh.
And yeah, even couch grass.
Really?
Even couch grass.
Really? So why don't more people do this, mate? What's holding back Australian viticulture? Why?
I'm not sure. I don't know what they do.
And people are stubborn.
People do these wrong things. People do the wrong thing all the time in Australian viticulture.
It's really backwards.
It's not my fault, you know.
So what's your take though on precision viticulture? Like
precision
yeah, they talk about this like smart farming with drones and shit.
Yeah, and shit. You know, so yeah, if you need, so O'Callaghan.
Yep.
Told me how much he liked a bit of variation down, you know, the rows down the side.
He liked variation.
He liked variation. There's some riper stuff at the top, and there's some greener stuff down the bottom, and that it removed the need for blending. You know, so you just do it. So you can embrace, you know, difference within your vineyard. So the idea of producing these entirely identical patches of grapes that is all the same. Means that your wines will end up simple.
Well, this is what happened. Maybe. Obviously, like in Barossa wines, I think a lot of people would agree that they became homogenous.
Yes.
The whole point of wine is to not be homogenous.
For some of us.
And Barossa saw us. I spy a book. You brought a book.
I brought a book.
What's?
No, I was worried about all the technology here, Brendan. There's too much fucking technology here. You know?
There is admittedly a lot of technology here.
I thought that given that we were doing that, I'd bring along my soil map.
Oh, this is so cool.
So we've got a terroir soil map.
Yeah, right. This is brilliant.
So
talk to us about this, mate.
So the Barossa ranges are here on the eastern side.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And the deposition, there's Newry Wood Park.
That's Newry.
And there's the red brown earths that start, you know, and go out through Stockwell and Light Pass and that sort of thing. And here is Vinevale, which is an alluvial deposition of sand over the top. So this whole character of Vinevale can be quite seriously delineated because that's what it is.
Because that's what it is. And so what was the bright pink thing? Was this red brown earths?
Red brown earths.
And they talk about
that, you know, cookie cutter of Barossa Shiraz.
Yes.
You take Shiraz grown on red brown earth, put it into American oak, out comes Barossa Shiraz, as everyone knows it. You know, that sort of caricature. But Vinevale's a different kettle of fish.
That's incredible. So that when they talk about like Biscay soils,
Biscays. I should have brought the other book, but
they are over this way. And so there's like a really massive distinction because I've seen photos of your vineyard. If you want to jump on their Instagram, obviously jump through their website and you'll be able to see it. It's linked in the description. Like we're talking sand, we're talking beach. In the Barossa. How far away are you from the beach?
50 km. Yes, but
it's amazing.
This is degraded schist that's been...
degraded what?
Schist.
Schist.
Yeah,
sand on schist.
Put our schists anywhere. Not a shit. But so that came from the hills.
Yeah.
From the Barossa. As they eroded and was deposited there alluvially, I'm quite sure.
Mate, that is absolutely incredible. How old is this book?
1954.
I don't...
Even older than me. It's really old, man.
So is it possible with soils that are this old, this eroded, with grape varieties such as Shiraz, is it possible to dry grow a vineyard in Australia?
I think so. Yeah, it's certainly possible on the best soil. It was, and it continues to be possible on the best soils, but there wasn't enough of the best soils, and the 1990s ensured that we had a whole lot of vineyard
Planted on the shitty soils.
On stuff that wasn't.
To try and make money.
Yeah.
Because the money for cabbages wasn't enough.
In a foolish attempt to make money out of the wine industry. Yes, that's correct.
Well, and last question before we get on to a quick round of blind tasting. What is your feeling about certification bodies?
Antagonistic in the main. Yeah, no, it's difficult. It really... And someone explained it to me in the beginning. It's like the council. They're not there to help you. They're not there to be a friend. They're there to check that you do
the right thing,
that you're doing the right thing to the best of their means possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, I find them. Yeah, I find the one that we deal with officious and smart-arsey and just that sort of Gen Y thing. There's too many Gen Y people there. There's that. But
there's that. I assume you're a boomer. No, you're not.
I'm not.
You are a Gen Y, are you?
I'm like your parents.
No.
Gen X, you see.
You're Gen X.
Yeah. If I was Gen Y, I'd be your parents. But I'm not. I'm a Gen X, so I'm in between you and your parents.
Too many Gen Ys in the room. Sorry, go away. That's incredible. Well, Mel Sinclair's been chiming in with the most outrageous puns. He's taking a stab at a new thing. Seriously, horns equal collagen. Fisting the grapes, grapes, encourage the offbeat. He's got dirt on his vineyard. I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. Guy, we are almost at time, so that means that it is time to do a cheeky little round of blind tasting, mate. We've got 3 bottles there. It's your choice, your pick. Grab a bottle, and we're going to jump straight to... Yeah, you're off over here. And it's completely... Ooh, closest bottle, straight on to Laura. Laura knows what's up. I'm going to empty my little cheeky glass here.
Yep. So now we're back on the...
Yep, back on the black glasses.
Okay.
I'm going to make it intentionally difficult for us.
Because we like it that way.
Because we like it that way. Difficulty, small business owner, viticulturalist, winemaker, all the above.
Yep.
Let's talk about... We've got a quick sort of 10 minutes left.
Yep.
Japan. You have an affinity with Japan. I've fallen head over heels in love with it as well. Laura grew up there, spent some time living there, and we both have. I think winemakers in general of a particular ilk really have a natural affinity, I think, for any culture that has managed to marry both basically first world living with nature so incredibly well. Yeah. But I don't think anyone does it as well as Japan. What is it about that? There is. I remember cracking out some wines, and they were like Anton von Klopper's, Lucy Margot, and I saw fully grown men fall to their knees, literally fall to their knees, start hailing this bottle of wine. Yeah. What is it about the culture that seems to resound so strongly with the wines that we're making here in Australia now?
I think it's a culture where they love perfection. There's that movie, The Last Samurai, with what's his name in it?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah. That explores this the focus on perfection. They really do value stuff that's made well, and so the handmade aspect of what we're doing, some of us are doing, is resounding in Japan, just like handmade wines from France and Italy and New Zealand resonate in Japan as well, and they can tell the difference.
It's interesting. They can taste the difference.
They can taste the difference. It's so easy to go there and sell wine. You pour the wine, and they tell you what's going on. Yeah. You don't have to explain anything to them. They understand it. People who are good at wine. To a greater degree than that happens for me in Australia or in other international markets.
It's funny when we were, not to pull out a. Oh, thanks so much, Richard. We got glasses flying at us. It's great. We have. The way that's mine. That's mine. Okay. We're playing COVID safe, people.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna shove my comments down. What's interesting?
Yeah, I've got to whip it out first up, and then it's not there so much.
Is it kissed by the cork? You reckon? Or do you reckon it's just part of the style?
I think it's just part of the style. I don't see. I see cork on the back of my palate rather than on the nose.
It's bubbly, mate. It's bubbly. Well, it's really bubbly.
It is.
That's old school.
Yeah. What champenoise seems
Yeah,
like.
champenoise. Yeah.
That does. It seems like Chardonnay, not Prosecco or something like that to me. You know, like Blanc de Blanc. I'm thinking. There's a bit of extra on there, but
I'm confused by this. This has confused the crap out of me. It's like it's method champenoise from a much warmer region. I don't think it's champenoise.
okay.
I don't have that.
Yeah, it's got that toast, but and a bit of the biscuity sort of carry.
It does. It really carries on. It's got autolytics. It's got some.
Yeah. It's had some autolysis character in there, in the blend. So you're thinking non-vintage or vintage?
I don't know yet. Laura's going to play the game.
Okay.
Laura's doing a cheeky amount of research.
All right. So we.
Oh yeah, no, we don't know. Laura's going to throw both of us under the bus, mate. This is.
No, but you're not prepared to let me know what you're thinking because this is some.
Yeah, I know. You know I am.
Yeah,
you know I am.
you are.
But no one's more competitive. no one's more competitive than Laura.
Right.
And she will throw both of us under.
In her own glory,
so the trick is not to let Laura know what we're thinking.
Right. Okay.
So we're technically on the same team.
Against your wife. Yeah.
All right.
No one's gonna win this. No one's gonna win this.
Is it New World or Old World?
I think this is Old World.
Yes, I agree.
Correct.
Cool.
All right, so we've established that it is a sparkling.
It is sparkling of sorts, yes.
So is it from Italy, Spain, or France?
Now you've started me on something. Yes, it's Spain.
Yeah.
Spain, I'm going to go.
I'm going Italy.
You are both incorrect.
Yeah.
I thought it was like not Valdebbiadene, Franciacorta. I thought it could have been like a 100% method champenoise, but done in warmer climes.
That was what made me think Carver as well.
It's kind of got a Carver-esque thing going.
Yeah, but clearly it's not.
All right, so is it from Champagne, Alsace, or Loire Valley?
The only way I really don't think this is champagne. It just doesn't feel right. It feels like a sparkling Vouvray. I'm thinking Loire. I'm thinking sparkling Chenin. Now that's where I'm jumping at. If it's in Alsace, I'm stoked. Like cool. Yeah. How cool. Never tried it before.
Is it a Silvana then, or it's not a reason?
Sparkling Pinot Gris. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I think this is Chenin-esque. It's kind of got that. Yeah. Okay.
I think, yes.
It's Champagne.
No way. If this is fucking sparkling Aligote.
I did say Chardonnay.
You say Chardonnay. Maybe just stick to your gut, man. Stick to your gut.
Yeah. Well, the first one is the right one. They say sometimes.
This has there's something animalic about it. Not like Retty or anything. There's something reductive and animalic about it that I just don't immediately go. Amazing champagne.
Well, so the varieties of Champagne are Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, and Chardonnay. Yeah. Which one is it?
I think firmly Pinot Meunier. Is this? Yeah.
Wayne is correct.
Oh no! Jesus Christ!
All right, so
I told you I'm always wrong, man.
Oh Jesus! I've been right.
Two more questions. The first one is vintage, and the second one is dosage level.
Wow.
So the amount of sugar left in the wine.
Okay. Cool. All right. So it is a single vintage. It is a non-vintage.
It's a vintage wine.
Sorry, it is vintage. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And you're not going to give us a straight stab? Or?
All right, we'll do vintage first. So options are 2013, 2011, 2015.
15.
I should have picked champagne. No, it's the acidity. Searing. Yeah, and that was why I rushed into it. Okay.
Overthinking.
Overthinking.
That's the trouble. Yeah.
I think it's, you said 11, 13 and 15? I think it's 13. I think there's a decent amount of lees time on this. It's just an interesting amount of lees.
It is 2011.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there is decently lees time. It's been aged for 30 months in barrel.
30 months in barrel. Do you know how much in bottle? So it feels like it's
The rest of the time?
It's like a...
The rest of the time.
Well, it's obviously like a year to come out here and stuff like that. But imagine...
No, 2 years.
2 years in bottle. Okay.
Aged in bottle and then disgorged. So disgorge, is
like
it
disgorged.
5, 7 or 0?
I think this is 0. I think it's 0 dosage.
Yeah,
this
well done.
searing. Yeah. Amazing. Utterly amazing. What is this? This is whack.
So this is from Jenny.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah. It's an organic vineyard.
This is you're just like, give me some more of that. This is this part of their portfolio? Is this Terroir Selections? Or who's
Jenny and Francois Selections.
Jenny and Francois Selections.
So it's come from California.
Who brought this?
I don't know.
I have no idea where this wine came from.
Maybe it is Terroir Selections in Australia.
I've no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I would love to know if someone could tell us where this particular wine came from, because this is incredible. Sorry?
It's yummy.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. What an like the other things like thrilling wines, just inherently interesting wines. Like I think that's what we're all in this for. That is a what they would call, I imagine this is what they would call a recoltant manipulant, which is a grower, like an RM, like a grower and producer. I don't think this is like a blending house or anything.
Yeah. I get where you're at with the warmer climate, and that straw, that dried straw character and that sort of thing,
Yeah. Just completely threw me. But maybe it's just the amount of time on lees, the amount of time in barrel, just to flesh it out and flesh it out and flesh it out. Utterly incredible.
Yes. That 11 would have been a relatively good year.
Wayne, we're pretty much at time. We got
Already?
room for one. Yeah, I told
Already
you. It'll be
so soon?
I know, it's the quickest hour, mate. I want to know one more question. One last final question. What do you reckon most winemakers in Australia are getting wrong? What glaringly, this is the glarious, it's a new word.
Glaringly.
It's the champagne and the 4X gold.
Yeah.
What glaringly obvious thing do you think we're all missing?
We're all missing.
We're all missing. What do you think as an Australian cohort, like, hey, guys, wake up.
Yeah.
This is what we should be focusing on.
Oh, okay. To me, the thing that's wrong with the Australian wine industry is that we've always sold from the bottom up, not the top down.
Totally.
That's, as an industry, I think as winemakers, and we're not all getting it wrong, but clearly harvest times can be a lot earlier than what they are currently. And focusing on more natural acidity rather than acid out of the bag as a general would be really good for us as an industry in terms of our international reputation. That's, to me, glaringly obvious. But the people who are picking earlier showed quite clearly, I think, and there's people like Paris and that are,
Have you ever seen, obviously you'd be aware that like AOC, DOCG standard wines, many of them, firstly, they can't be irrigated, but secondly, whilst they are allowed to chaptalize, which is the addition of sugar to increase the alcohol of ferments during very cold or wet years.
They're not doing that so much anymore.
Not doing it, yeah, exactly. But they had to ask permission from like a governing body where they would announce, this year is a chaptalization year, you now may go forth. I remember 2014 was a really, I was working in Barolo and people were really stressing out because the DOCG board wasn't allowing the Barolo winemakers to chaptalize. And what we're getting, I've never seen Nebbiolo so botrytized before. And they're like, we really need this. They got it and it was like a godsend. Do you think that in Australia, maybe we should have a few more controls over the additives?
Well, having referenced my comments about the certifying body, I think,
Absolutely. Maybe not too much control, but something that isn't like dealing with council.
I mean, Yeah, I'd be, like most people would be, very reluctant to give up freedom that we have, that we enjoy here. Hi, Janelle.
Is that Janelle? Janelle from...
Janelle from Seawine, yeah.
Yeah, so amazing. Janelle, you're Hilda Mataro.
Yeah.
Next level. Yeah. Next level. And to be honest, the line tasted, the exact words out of my mouth were that there was definitely a winemaker that pulled their hair out over this. This is
agree with that. She's at home. Not
utterly amazing work, Janelle. Yeah. Seriously, that is like everything pinpoint accuracy, perfection. That is perfection if I've ever seen it in a wine. So that's you know, and you pay for that. And I think you should. Like that is a tough thing to do. I personally cannot do that. I'm in awe of people who can.
Yes. Very good. But yeah. So yeah, again, it's refreshing acid and that sort of thing. It's difficult. I don't think that we should be introducing policing into the industry. I think that people need to have the freedom to be able to go about doing their business the way they should, and
customers will vote with their dollars. Yeah, ultimately.
They will. And I don't know that AOCs and that sort of thing. You know, back in the day, they did make a difference, but I think they've rather outlived their usefulness, and most French guys and most French Italian winemakers will tell you the same thing. I think, you know.
Well, having worked in Barolo before and seeing the amount of Merlot that goes into Barolo, it's just you know, the rules are bent and broken all the time based on that, because it's not you know, these rules aren't really inherently like saving people; they're just guidelines now. Yeah. Guys, and on that note, I'm going to have a guideline being sent to me from Henry Hammersley out at Applewood Distillery to say, get the bloody hell off the live stream. I'm about to hit go stream myself. Guys, thank you so much for being an absolutely amazing audience. Mel Sinclair chiming in a great energy this time. Thanks, Wayne and Brendan. Enjoyed this episode. Brought something different to the show. Brilliant show, gents. Great episode. Hey, we've got a lot of love, mate. We nailed it. Wayne. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Laura, of course, thanks for jumping in Noah's chair and being an amazing producer, running around 6 different wines in rapid succession. And of course, live audience as well. Hiya, of course, Steve and Richard as well. Thank you so much for chiming in. Guys, we'll be back on Wednesday as well. Different guest, something new, something different, something you won't expect. But guys, until such time, have a wonderful Monday evening. Hopefully whatever in your glasses is fantastic. And I'm going to be finishing off this grower champagne in half a second.